Throughout our marriage, my wife and I have faced numerous challenges, many of which were outside of our control. Despite my successful career, we've been robbed twice in the last 5 years, causing us to lose a significant amount of our earnings. Additionally, I suffer from an immune disorder that makes me susceptible to illness. When the pandemic hit, I contracted the virus and nearly lost my life. The aftermath left me bedridden for over a year, battling severe symptoms. Thankfully, my job allowed me to work remotely from my bed during my battle with COVID, but I struggled to perform my duties efficiently due to the brain fog it caused. As time passed, the combination of my ongoing illness, persistent brain fog, and financial struggles left me feeling emotionally hopeless. I recognized the need for professional assistance and voluntarily admitted myself to a behavioral hospital for a few days in April 2021. Although the hospital's impact was limited, one therapist's insight helped me recognize that my chronic illness had inadvertently made me self-centered due to prolonged depression. This revelation left me in tears as I realized the emotional toll it had taken on my wife and our marriage. The experience transformed me overnight, and I emerged as a new man. Despite this newfound clarity, I remained emotionally vulnerable in some ways. After leaving the hospital, I acknowledged that I still had a lot of work to do to repair myself and regain my wife's trust. However, upon seeing me, my wife immediately noticed the positive change and exclaimed, "I have my husband back." I shared that my COVID symptoms were slowly subsiding, and I was regaining my libido and emotional connection with her. I expressed my eagerness to fully embrace our relationship, and my wife was overjoyed at the prospect. Regrettably, fate intervened just 4 days later when my wife was sitting outdoors at a cafe. A young, athletic, and charming individual approached her, striking up a conversation. My wife is undeniably attractive, and I may be biased, but she looks stunning. She's tall, well-proportioned, and has a beautiful face. The gentleman in question was a foreigner and a charmer, a sponsored professional athlete well known in his country. He was visiting our city for a few weeks to train. When my wife returned home, she couldn't stop talking about him, but I didn't think much of it. I'm not the jealous type and understand that crushes happen. However, the following day marked the beginning of a tumultuous period. My wife didn't inform me that they had exchanged contact information and planned to meet up. When she returned home from her daily dog walk, she was beaming with excitement. I could tell right away that she had met him. Although she initially denied it, she knew I was perceptive when it came to reading people. She admitted that they were going to have a non-emotional, purely physical relationship with no expectation of sex. However, given that I had only been out of the mental hospital for 5 days, I was in no position to fight her on this, both mentally and physically. In fact, I was still recovering from the debilitating effects of COVID, which had lasted for 14 months. Despite the vaccine helping me improve steadily each day, my prolonged illness had left me with a lack of intimacy. Knowing that he would only be in town for another week before returning to his home country, my wife was determined to pursue the affair. Unfortunately, I lacked the strength to fight her effectively, which she mistook as approval. However, this was not the case. I suggested to her that it would be best for her safety if I could track her phone at all times. She agreed to inform me if they became intimate, but unfortunately she broke her promise. Additionally, she forbade me from hugging, touching, kissing, or making any intimate advances towards her while he was in town. I expressed my concern that she might be falling for him and asked her to reassure me that I was not losing her. After being discharged from a hospital due to feelings of hopelessness, I asked her to promise me something. However, she refused to make any promises. Later, she took him to a restaurant that was special to us, which was a very romantic gesture. That night, they engaged in sexual activity in a park, despite her telling me the next morning that they had only kissed. When I asked her again about the extent of their intimacy, she became angry and accused me of being paranoid. I pointed out that adults don't go to a closed park at night just to kiss. She claimed that she needed some alone time and checked into the fanciest hotel in the city, but I suspected that she wanted to see him. As it turned out, She spent 2 nights with him at the hotel. On the second night, he came to her room, and she had the audacity to text me about their mediocre sexual encounter before he left. The next morning, they met up at a cafe before he departed. As he was leaving, she confessed that she had developed feelings for him. This is where the story takes a darkly humorous and pitiful turn. The man my wife was seeing was a true player, involved with multiple women while he was in town, including my wife. He tried to juggle them all but never reciprocated any emotional attachment or affection towards her. He was a classic alpha male who treated her terribly and spent most of their time together talking about himself, his workouts, and even bragging about going to a strip club with some colleagues. He also boasted about being associated with an NFL team, which annoyed my wife, but only made him more appealing to her. When she returned home, she anticipated my anger, and I didn't disappoint her. She admitted to what had happened and stated that it was over. She claimed that she had no emotional attachment to him and that it was my choice whether to continue the relationship or not. Later, she revealed that she had done it to boost her self-confidence, a goal that I had been trying to help her achieve for years without success before my illness. I am a highly intelligent individual with excellent technical skills. Right from the beginning, I was aware that my wife would lie, withhold information, and follow the typical playbook of cheating spouses, including gaslighting me on several occasions. I had the ability to eavesdrop on their conversations in real time and record them, which she was aware of. But she chose to ignore it and continued with the affair. She even went so far as to offer me a free pass to sleep with someone else if that would make me feel better. It was such a foolish and predictable response. I confronted her about each of her lies and presented the evidence I had gathered. She was completely devastated when she realized that I had caught her red-handed. I had nearly all the proof I needed. She attempted to feign amnesia and downplay the extent of their intimacy. But I was already aware of both. And as expected, she confided in him that she had developed feelings for him. Using my technical expertise, I was able to eavesdrop on their conversations in real time and record them. I gave her the transcripts to review. As for our current status, she now realizes the extent of the pain she has caused me. She is doing everything in her power to make things right, but she knows that there is nothing she can do to restore my trust. She has expressed her willingness to endure my anger and indifference for the rest of our lives if it means that I can see through her actions how remorseful she is for what she did to me. I believe that she genuinely feels remorseful. She has acknowledged that if he had remained in town, she would have continued seeing him, which would have destroyed any chance of us reconciling. She has taken the step of blocking him, and I have complete access to all of her devices. She has agreed to let me do this indefinitely. However, what she fails to grasp is that she has irrevocably transformed me. As a man, I've never been jealous or tried to assert myself as an alpha. However, I am secure in my identity and have never had difficulty attracting women. Despite numerous advances from women, I have never even entertained the idea of being unfaithful. On the other hand, she used to be overweight, and now she allows herself to be used by a handsome, fit, and confident man who manipulates her easily. I am not rushing to file for a divorce because my wife went above and beyond to take care of me when I was battling COVID for 14 months. Her actions during that time were nothing short of amazing and saved my life. I'm aware of her love for me and the reason behind her infidelity. She tried to attribute it to stress and lack of confidence. But the truth is that she was simply enamored by a man like him for the first time in her life. He wanted to have sex with her and manipulated her by flattering her looks and coaxing her into saying things she wouldn't have otherwise. She has confessed to her friends and family about her actions and acknowledges that she will spend the rest of her life making it up to me. Despite this, she knows that I don't trust her, and they have chosen to leave her. At this point, I am undecided about whether to end the relationship. I have already consulted a lawyer and have prepared documents that will be delivered if she makes any further mistakes. An update on her affair partner, He is a pro sportsman in his late 30s who is on the verge of retirement. Despite this, he still competes and travels internationally with his country's Olympic team. On the side, he uses his charm and stories about his accomplishments to seduce beautiful, sophisticated, and wealthy married women into sleeping with him. As a cybersecurity expert with a knack for digging into people's lives, I quickly discovered that he and his brother own a sex website. He covertly records his conquests, whether in their homes, hotel rooms, or elsewhere. He uses a cunning tactic of pretending to listen to music from his smartphone, when in reality, he's secretly recording videos. In addition, there are a few more details that I need to address in this update. I've noticed that some of you are labeling me as a simp for choosing to stay with her. However, I consider myself a Sigma male who is confident, charming, intelligent, and exudes self-confidence, even though I may not look good when sick. It's understandable that those who haven't experienced a long-term illness, especially one that completely eliminates one's libido for over a year, may find it difficult to comprehend how it affected our relationship. It was not due to being a simp, but rather due to my immune system prior to disease. I have seen firsthand what women are capable of when they are infatuated and given the opportunity to cheat. They will undoubtedly carry out their plans, and my wife is no exception. Naturally, I vehemently opposed her intentions and made it clear to her what kind of individual she was: shallow, self-absorbed, and so on. Initially, she denied that anything was amiss, but my intuition told me otherwise, and I confronted her. Unfortunately, my physical and emotional strength were diminished. Therefore, I relented and accepted that if she was determined to go through with her plan and jeopardize our relationship, I requested that she keep me informed of her whereabouts, since she did not know the man in question. I am aware that he is a renowned personality in his country, and he has a reputation to uphold. However, I implore you not to engage in any intimate activities with him. But in case you do decide to pursue such a path, please take necessary precautions to protect yourself. It is imperative for you to know that I have no intention of engaging in any sexual activity with you if you choose to go ahead with this affair. Despite her agreement to abide by the terms, she blatantly disregarded every rule because she was a typical rebellious female who wanted to cheat, and I represented an obstacle in her quest to have an affair. Furthermore, I have already prepared the divorce papers, and they are ready for my lawyer to initiate the process. However, there are a few complications that need to be addressed. The state I reside in follows a no-fault policy, which implies that my wife's infidelity and the evidence I possess hold no significance. To make matters worse, she does not have a job. I have always been the breadwinner, ensuring that she can pursue her dreams of becoming an artist and socialite. Despite her lack of financial independence, she is highly educated, incredibly intelligent, and exceptionally talented in the arts. She spends most of her time volunteering for numerous charitable organizations, helping those who are less fortunate. But this predicament implies that if I proceed with the divorce, I may have to pay a significant sum of alimony that would match her current lifestyle. It is worth noting that our financial problems are not due to any financial mismanagement on our part, but rather from identity theft. As a cybersecurity professional, I have managed to upset a few hackers who are backed by well-funded organizations and possibly even represent other countries. Nonetheless, I still have a steady income, and we are gradually getting back on track. At the moment, I refuse to divorce her, as it would only work in her favor. Despite everything, I am confident that I will still have a steady income and be able to maintain a decent standard of living. But the thought of paying alimony to someone who has wronged me so severely, coupled with the fact that the state does not consider infidelity a significant factor, is a significant reason why I have not yet initiated the divorce proceedings.